Hey, this is Mossy. I'm sorry for the abrupt ending for that. I think it was like part 3.5. OBS just cut out and I lost internet access. So the playthrough just ended abruptly. I didn't realize until an hour later when I actually uploaded or exported the video to YouTube. I'm like, gameplay should have been an hour and 30 minutes, but the time code stated it was an hour and 7 minutes. So I'm sorry about that. We'll just continue on from here. Princess, she's going to kill Fiorka. I don't even know Sebi's voice anymore. Look, I'm doing my best. Stop this, Sir Mithros. Where's Delora when we need her? I run toward Rod and wrap my arms around his waist in an attempt to stop him. But whether through magic or his own strength, he continues onward. I end up being dragged behind him. Rod, step out of it! Rod! I must kill her. His gaze is so glassy, and his words are so mechanical that he sounds nothing like himself. No! Mithro, stop this! I am ending our deal! My apologies, Your Highness, but not even I can dispel my magic once it has been cast. It will only fade of its own volition, Damn it, Windows Update. It will only fade of its own volition once what needs to be done has transpired. That, or perhaps in a most unlikely circumstance, the prince will simply shake off the spell himself. Though Mithros' words are apologetic, his expression is anything but. In fact, he looks amused by it all. Not so fast! Crimson ball of light rushes towards Mithros. He waves his hand through the air and is barely able to conjure a spell to protect himself from Delora's magic. Delora! It wasn't exactly easy to find you all, especially with the silencing spell. Such a nuisance. That's not important. Help me stop Rod! Frost slowly appears beneath Rod's feet. It spreads up his legs, freezing him in place. I sigh with relief as I collapse onto the floor. My arms are sore with the effort of trying to hold Rod back. Mithros clicks his tongue as he faces Delora. I don't believe you were invited to this play, traitor. Light gathers around Mithros' hand. Moments later, he releases the energy toward her. Delora, in turn, conjures a barrier, successfully protecting herself from Mithros' magic. I always did fancy myself a party crasher. To think, still, you were alive this whole time. Myth? His real name. He's one of the TV Bear servants. What? This person was my mother's servant? Why is Lucette so surprised about this fact? Allow me to correct you. I am her only faithful servant. I am nothing like that ungrateful bastard who betrayed her to the fairies. Who is he talking about? Well, whatever you're planning, forget about it. There's no way we're letting you get away with it. Oh? Well, do try your best. But first, a reminder. I am the superior witch here. Energy crackles in the air as sparks begin to form around his hand. This spell is taking longer than his other spells. It's too bad the authors or artists couldn't draw out this battle. I noticed Delora's worry moments before she is able to cast a spell on herself. This isn't good. Mithros releases the bolts of lightning in Delora's direction. The impact causes both the shield and the ground to shudder. Delora! The smoke clears and miraculously, Delora stands unharmed. No sooner has a sigh escaped my lips that another frightening sound echoes across the room. There's a loud crack, and I realize that it is coming from Delora's shield. Everything after that happens in a blur. Delora is trying to hold the shield up with when Mithros casts another spell at it. It shatters and the magic sheet. Ah! It shatters and the magic seeps through and hits her directly. Delora! Really now, have you forgotten the most important lesson in defense magic? Always conjure another shield after being hit by a powerful spell. Or, oh, I do apologize. Perhaps I did not give you enough time to cast another shield. How thoughtless of me. Delora lays on the floor, unmoving. Delora! I'm about to rush to her side when Mithros moves to stand in front of me with a malicious grin on his face. It will do you no good to be in denial, princess. How could you? How could you hurt another witch? It's not a crime to destroy a traitor. He looks back at Delora with clear disdain. Then he sets his eyes back on me and raises his eyebrows. It is foolish of you to try and stop this. You wanted this, and I will not allow you to renege on our deal. The prince will break his curse, and you will help me. Help you? Yes, I went to great pains to make sure Alcaster kept you safe just so you can repay me. You said you made a deal with Alcaster to borrow the knight's assistance. And what would I need the assistance for, dear princess? I never needed the knights. I just needed Alcaster to keep you safe. I would have gotten rid of him myself if I wasn't sure the king would eventually find me. So this whole time you were only trying to keep me safe? To use me? Use is such a simple, ugly word. Remember, I just wanted to help me. I wanted you to help me. Princess! I turn around and realize Delora's spell on Rod has faded, and now that he is only a few feet away from Yurka. Rod! I force myself to run toward him as fast as I can manage. I will not let you kill anyone! I don't know what I must do to stop him, so I do the first thing that comes to mind. I put myself between Rod and Bjorka just as he is about to plunge the knife into her. Princess! My body is racked with pain the moment the blade sinks into my shoulder. Ah! I collapse to the floor and hold onto my injured shoulder. I can feel my blood seeping between my fingers. You fool! You could have easily been killed. I don't care. I love Rod, and I would never let him do something that he would do to regret for the rest of his life. I cringe. Tears cloud my vision as the pain worsens. Lucette! I feel Rod's arms around me as he cradles me to his chest. I look up at him and see his eyes are fixed on my bleeding shoulder. Rod looks at me with anguish. He grabs a handkerchief from his pocket and presses it to my shoulder. I can't believe I did this. I stare in shock as his lips move. It's not Sebi speaking, but him. Your voice! You broke your curse! Oh shit, I did. But how? A bright light envelops us, and for a few moments I have to close my eyes against its brightness. I reach out to grab at my necklace, but it's gone. I open my eyes in panic, but the necklace is definitely not there. Lucette, the glass slippers. I glance down to see a pair of smooth glass slippers on my feet. You broke your curse by breaking mine. I hear the sound of shattering glass, and I turn to see Mithros staring at a broken vial. What was that? Frost began to form at his feet, and now spreading up his legs. What is happening? I always have a backup, as they say. Seems like you're the one who forgot the basics of combat. Never turn your back on an opponent unless you're sure that they're dead. Your bloated ego does wonders in turning the tide of battle. Delora is now back on her feet and walking towards Mithros. She dusts off her dress as she moves. Delora is unharmed. What? You? But how? Did you really think I'd forget to conjure another shield? The frost has now made its way up to Mithros' neck. Inconceivable! A lowly witch like you could never cast this powerful a spell. Delora gestures at the glass shards on the floor. That's where Parfait's new special potion comes in handy. It makes my magic more powerful. The second most basic lesson is to never underestimate your opponent. Looks like you're a terrible pupil. Mithros opens his mouth to speak, or perhaps to scream, but by the time he opens his mouth, the frost has completely devoured him, leaving him nothing but an icy sculpture. Delora, Lucette is. Has her bleeding stopped? I think so. I cannot make out what they say after that. My world starts spinning and everything starts to blur, so I close my eyes. I feel Delora's hand on my forehead. The warmth relaxes me somewhat. We got you, princess! Hang in there, Lucette. My body becomes heavier by the second as I lean my head against Rod's chest. And then I feel myself falling into never-ending darkness. When I open my eyes, the first thing I see are the soft rays of sunlight seeping through the window. I am in my own room. I attempt to sit up and cringe when I feel a sharp pain in my shoulder. I reach out to touch it, only to realize it has been neatly bandaged. Despite the injury, my body feels oddly light, stronger than it ever was before. I remember. I placed myself in front of Yorka to stop Rod from hurting her. But where did this energy come from? The door opens and Emmeline walks in with a tray of food in her hand. She stops when she realizes I'm staring at her and nearly drops the tray in a rush to stand beside me. Lucette, you're finally awake. I was so worried about you. I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. What are you talking about? It was mine, not yours. I remember bringing the knife to Rod, but I can't remember much of what happened before or after that. Just that when I woke in the throne room, I saw that you were bleeding in Rod's arms. I thought you were going to. The rest of Emmeline's words break it to pieces as she begins to cry. I'm so sorry for forgetting about you. I made you work too hard while you were my personal maid, and I shake my head with a sigh. It's not your fault I was cursed, Emmeline. But I look at her tear-stained face. She's not at fault yet. Here she is crying. She really is a good person. I spread my arms. Lucette? I turn away, suddenly embarrassed. You look like you needed a hug. Emmeline stares at me for a few moments. I'm about to reconsider when I suddenly feel her arms around me. I'm so happy. I hug her back and stroke her hair. I cannot help but smile at the warmth that spreads in my chest. Thank you. Emmeline pulls back, her face full of concern. What? What will happen to you, What will happen to you and Rod now? I saw how close the two of you got, and I saw how Rod looked at you last night. Wait, last night? Wait, so today is my birthday, and the day I become the bear. Is that the reason why I feel so strangely energized? Oh! Emmeline walks up to one of my doll's shelves and picks up the doll she had placed there months ago. Happy birthday! I meant to give this to you earlier as a surprise before you were cursed. Anyway, I know that it's not as pretty as other dolls from your collection, but I hope that you like it. It's beautiful. Thank you. I take the doll in my arms as a knock sounds on the door. Come in! The door opens and Rod steps inside. His eyes widen when he sees Emmeline. Ed? Oh, I was just about to leave. Emmeline slides off my bed and heads for the door. Before she closes it, she turns to us once again. I know how complicated this will be for the both of you, but I want you to know that I will support you. So my lips are sealed. Emmeline winks before finally closing the door behind her. There's an awkward silence in the room before Rod approaches and sits on the edge of the bed. How are you feeling? It still hurts, but I'll be fine. What's wrong? Is it the fact that I have the same exact voice as Sebby uses? Or is this my real voice? I am just not used to hearing your voice from your own lips. Oh. But I see that you still have Sebby with you. I've grown too fond of him to completely set him aside. He's helped me through a lot. Omar, I can't read his thoughts anymore. There was never any need for you to do that in the first place. Is that so? Rod shakes his head and sighs silently. So, what happened last night? How is it that you're able to break your curse? You didn't kill Viorica. In the original fairy tale, the little mermaid could retain her humanity only if the prince loved her back. Though it never happens in the fairy tale, it is still an element in her curse. But still, because the prince never fell in love with her, the only way for the mermaid to live was to kill him. I fell in love with you unknowingly. When you told me you loved me as well last night, that broke my curse. I feel my cheeks turn warm. Rod coughs. His own cheeks flushed. So there you have it. The Little Mermaid never had a fairy tale ending, but I did. I never had to kill Viorica. But because my curse started with Viorica, I assumed it had to end with her too. It turns out that the person I loved just needed to love me back. I was mistaken. It never needed to be Viorica. I see. We stare at each other for a few moments, the awkward silence returning. I change the subject as quickly as I can. What became of Sir Mithros? Delora brought him back to Lady Parfait. She is the one who will properly punish him. And what of Viorica? Delora returned her to her home yesterday. She doesn't remember anything that happened. Everything is back to how it is now. Then, you're back to being my stepbrother? I cannot help but feel crestfallen at this truth. Blood binds, so do sibling bonds. Rod and I can never have what either of us want. I don't want to forget these feelings I have for you, Lucette. If I had never made that deal with the witch, then maybe we might have actually been together. But had you not been cursed, our paths never would have crossed. I reach for Rod's hand. He laces his fingers through mine with a small smile. I love you, Rod. I love you too. But... Rod leans forward and kisses my cheek. I know. 1 month later. Ever since I broke my curse and became the new TB bear, I've been training under Parfait and Delora so that I can learn to control my newfound powers. I never wanted this responsibility, but it is a burden I was born into. It is necessary I help maintain the balance between light and dark that has been missing for so long. Now that I am the new TB bear, Parfait wants the two of us to work together in maintaining that peace. I don't wish to cause any pain or suffering to the people, especially to the people whom I cherish. Sometimes I still wonder what Sir Mithros wanted me to do for him, but that's not important anymore. I still have much to learn, but right now, as a new bear, my priority is to get rid of the fairy tale curse once and for all. For the time being, everyone at the Martian waits patiently for the day I will learn to lift their curses. Since everything's transpired, my relationship with Ophelia and Emmeline has improved. Emmeline is fond of calling me her best sister, even though I am the only one she has. My relationship with the king, however, has yet to be mended. I'm doing my best to open up to him and to give him a chance, but the efforts are slow going. I don't ask why he acted the way he did in the past, but I know that in order to move forward, I must let go of the past. It's finally time. I've been waiting for this all day. I head back into my room to change my dress into something less conspicuous. Afterwards, I head out into town and into the forest for my designated meeting. It is a relief the king allows me to leave the palace on my own. I would not have been able to come here with the guards. I guess me being the TV bearer puts him at ease. If the title reassures him and allows me to come out here on my own to meet Rod, then I am not complaining. Rod still uses the secret passage he has always used to sneak out of the palace. Emily knows about our secret meetings and helps cover for our disappearances if necessary. It makes me happy that Emily approves of our relationship, that we do not have to keep it a secret from absolutely everyone. At first, Rod and I both attempted to keep our distance without making it seem too obvious to everyone around us. Though Ophelia seems to suspect something is going on between the two of us, she has not asked questions. Emmeline was not happy with our decision. She said she felt terrible that we would be forced to let go of something so precious on account of our titles. She was right. More than that, it was difficult for the two of us to deny our feelings for each other. In the end, we came up with a solution, even if it was temporary. We decided to secretly meet up in the forest once in a while so that we could be together without any pretenses, even just for a little while. When I catch sight of Rod, I run toward him and throw my arms around his neck. I feel Rod snuggle his face into the crook of my neck. May I have this, Dad's? I take Rod's hand and begin dancing to a silent song. The first time I danced with him, it was to prove a point. It was when neither of us even liked each other. I remember this as I stare at him. What? Is there something on my face? I was just remembering how much you hated me back then. And now, here we are. Fate sure loves to toy with us. I smile at Rod. Just for a little longer. I want to be by his side. I don't know how long we can keep this up, but every day I wish for the same thing. I wish that I can live my life openly loving Rod. I wonder, would that dream ever be possible? Yay! That's the third time I completed this effing ending. Let's play some more. Well, let's play this one. I'll put the song in the description box.
It's like sunshine on a cold night. It's like a storm comprised of hurricane night. It's like the sweetest surprise, the time of your life, when you felt so alive. Just like falling in love. Every time I hear my favorite song, just like falling in love. Just can't help but sing along. Just like falling in love. I just can't get enough. Just like falling in love. 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 Just like falling in love.
Oh, so there you have it. That is the first route that I finished. Replayed 5 times to get this fucking recording correct. What? Guided by intuition. Where is that? No, you just gotta... What? Oh. So guided by intuition is basically if you obtained a good ending without using the right choice indicator. Oh, look at that. Kind of cheated though because I used a lot of references online. Alright, I'm gonna end this thing here and continue off with the other route that I'm currently playing, which is Waltz's route. I have to re-record it because I thought, you know what? No, I'll explain if someone asks why. I'll see you later. Have a good one. Bye bye.